Hello and welcome everybody to All the Rage Sports. We are having all the technical difficulties today. Last week we had some scheduling difficulties. Today we're having technical difficulties, but we are finally here. So, uh, this week we're going to talk about all our week 3 matchups. We're going to go through each game, kind of talk about each one, some significant things that happen, injuries that are out there, teams that are overcoming them, teams that are not. We're going to talk about our 3-0 teams and what we like and what we dislike about them, if they're going to be able to sustain that success. And then look at some of our 0-3 teams, our 1-2 teams. Who's going to rebound? Who's going to try to scrape into the playoffs? We're also going to talk about lovely Jesse's prediction, looking like it's starting to come to fruition with his prediction of Jaden Daniels being the better quarterback out of this draft than Caleb Williams. Obviously, a little too early already, only 3 weeks in, but man, is it looking like he is right. We're going to talk about our Monday night doubleheader as well. The Bills are looking fantastic. We were all kind of down on them, and it kind of looks like they might be okay. We're going to look at week 4 coming up, what we can expect, give you our parlay as per usual, and all that stuff, all on All the Rage Sports. So let's just kick it right off into the week 3 showdowns here. So, a lot of notable games that happen, a lot of notable losses, I think, is kind of more of what last week was. Jets, did destroy the Patriots 24-3 on that Thursday night game. I think we all kind of predicted that the Jets were going to win that. I don't know if we thought that they were going to win it the way they did. There's a lot of people saying as these weeks are going on, Aaron Rodgers just keeps looking good and better, and the team's defense is starting to play better. How do you guys feel about this Jets team right now? Everybody shrugs. Just
I have no
shrugs.
feelings about this Jets team.
Really?
I mean, I think I think we may have written them off and said that, oh, Rogers walked a little too early, but I think it's honestly a lot of the teams we're going to talk about this week. I think it's still too early to call one way or the other on a lot of these teams. I think we're going to have a lot in the coming weeks, like weeks 4 through 8 or 9 is where you're going to get to the bread and the butter of the whole
Right.
matter and see who's for real and who's not. But I don't know. I mean, the Jets have all the pieces. I mean, it's not like on paper they should be an excellent football team, and I think we even predicted. I can't remember if we all said they were going to the playoffs or a couple of us had picked them to win the
Not
division.
gonna lie, I picked my Super Bowl prediction as the Lions versus the Jets.
There you go.
So I think that this team, and there's a lot of people talking about how Aaron Rodgers is playing, that this could be a top 5 offense. And this is the first time in his career he's thrown a touchdown to a first round pick wide receiver with Garrett Wilson, which is absolutely just the most unusual stat for somebody of his tenure and his resume. Like, just absolutely bonkers to think that he, what, 18th season in, and he's finally thrown a touchdown to a first round pick wide receiver. Crazy.
Well, the Packers were too busy doing everything but getting him help back in the day. So
Yeah, they
I mean,
did. He
he did have prime Devontae
This is true.
for
Prime
others than that.
Devontae, but not a first round pick.
Prime
So
Jordy.
good old Jets actually looking really good out there. I'm excited to see what's to come with them. Patriots kind of coming down to earth. I think they had like this hype around them where there was like everybody doubted them. They were going to show them up, and then Jacoby
Yeah,
Brissett became Jacoby Brissett.
see, I don't really think the Jets even matter because the Bills exist. I
Right?
mean,
Yeah, that's just it. It's
I
like
just
now
don't
it's
even think that they actually matter. Who cares
three
what they
weeks
do?
ago we were like, ah, yeah, the Bills' window's closed. They're screwed.
That's what
And
I
now they
thought,
look
but
better than they ever had with Stephon Diggs.
Well,
apparently,
again, let's maybe pump the brakes on the Bills because let's remember they did play the Jags, but
That is
um,
true. Yeah.
I'm not too sure that game is just not so much the Bills being back as much as it is. I think the Jags are really that fucking bad.
And we're going to get into that game a lot because there's a lot to unpack with what happened in that game and the repercussions of it. So let's go into our Sunday matchups. Giants at Browns. I don't know that there's a lot to talk about in that one. Giants do win. Really, the only thing that we can really talk about this is how Neighbors is right now like the best receiver in the NFL. Like, it's crazy to say that, but like
Wide receiver 1 in fantasy,
he
apparently.
is
So.
literally wide receiver 1 in fantasy right now, which is absolutely insane. There is nothing more on that offense now. They're talking about Devin Singletary getting a ton more usage, which is great and all. But that team is just so bad. I just can't believe. I can't believe the hype around it. It's kind of back a little bit to the Odell Beckham days where he was fantastic, but the team wasn't super duper good. Them beating the Browns, I do find hilarious because the Browns will always find a way to Brown. And the fact that the Browns are this bad and still not last in the division is also hilarious.
Only the Browns.
The NFL is actually fucking on its side, falling out of the bar stool, hammered, drunk this year. I can't remember. I don't know about you guys, but I can't remember a year where literally nothing to begin the year computes or really makes sense. I mean, the Steelers are 3-0. They're like the hottest team in football. Justin Fields is the starter. Would anybody have predicted that? Fuck no. We all thought it was going to be Russ. I could go on. That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Just nothing makes fucking sense.
No. Sam Darnold is in the MVP race right now.
Derek Carr and Sam Darnold are two of the best quarterbacks in football right now.
Well, Derek Carr came back to earth, but
he had one bad game, but let's not write him off the first two good ones. All right, but
so did Baker
for the Debbie fucking Downer, for the sake of my point, you get what I'm getting at. You wouldn't have even predicted that he had the first two games that he had, but yeah, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then we go into the next game with the Bears and the Colts, and that's I can't even say that Richardson's in his. I don't even feel like he's in his second year. I feel like the dude's a sophomore in college right now. If you look at the amount of
he missed all of last year.
Yeah,
he has also played 20 football games since high school, is what I've heard.
I was just gonna say.
He just doesn't have the reps. Like, this is to be expected.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. He's basically a red shirt. Like,
yeah. Did you see that first pick he threw? It was pretty. It was pretty pathetic. He basically just kind of like went here, dude. Like threw it right.
Because I feel like the Colts are a pretty good team too, but they're just going to get sunk by Richardson until he gets it together. Honestly,
yeah. I don't think that you'll see productive play out of him probably for another year or two, just because of the sheer experience that he lacks. If the Colts were smart, they would put all the focus on Jonathan Taylor on that team and their offensive line, and they would run the ball and then try to control the game and use their big front on defense to go after the passer and stop the run. Like, they don't have the best secondary by any means, but they do have a very good front on their defensive line. So it's just like they need to be controlling games with the run game. And I know you got to pass it to run, or run to pass, whatever. But if you can establish that game with Jonathan Taylor and that big O line, they could do a lot more damage out there.
Problem is, Anthony Richardson just has a cannon and literally nothing else. He has zero accuracy. He can launch it 80 yards down the field, but that means nothing. When you can't hit a guy 10 yards in front of you over the middle.
Yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of Kaepernick. Like, it was like the same thing. It's like you always used to drive me nuts about Kaepernick. They'd be like, oh, he could throw a 105-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's like, yeah, and he's going to throw that shit into triple coverage.
Yeah, right.
5 yards behind the receiver. That's
People also can't catch those balls with their hands either. So
no,
you try and catch that shit coming off.
Yeah.
There's no fucking steam coming
oh,
off.
that's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
catch that fucking hard of a throw.
Yes, it's fucking. It's not even like the you've ever caught a football, you like jam your finger on it, and you think you break it. You can have like a perfect form catch from Anthony Richardson and probably still break both of your fucking index fingers on both hands.
Well, and they take down the Bears, and Caleb Williams just again looks atrocious. Like, and I'm not even blaming him at this point. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys seen the replay of their goal line run, where 4 of their offensive linemen are laying on the ground while the entire defensive line of the Colts is in the backfield.
That was killing me when I
How
saw
does that even happen? I just don't understand.
That was one of the funniest
they all
things
stopped
that came out
and
of this week.
lunged to try to block the guys, and they just went.
And everybody just went, see ya.
Right to the ground.
Ole!
I like watching it. Like one of the offensive linemen, I think the right guard took out the center.
Yes.
And then the left guard just fell.
Yeah,
and then the left tackle
5 guys laying on the ground.
hit anybody and like turned around and fell. Like it was just that is the biggest problem, and that makes me think about how Justin Fields felt over there, having to try to put everything on his shoulders.
That to the casual fan, I mean, it's very easy to go, oh, Caleb Williams sucks and blah blah blah. But yeah, the knock everybody keeps throwing at him is, oh, he's running around and he's trying to improvise like it's college. And it's like, bro, that's all he had. It's like,
yeah, he's in survival mode, and that's what they said about Justin Fields too. I mean, really, when they drafted Caleb Williams, their skill sets were pretty similar, a big arm, mobile quarterback kind of thing, and like you thought you were just trading in for Justin Fields 2.0 when you drafted Caleb Williams. They keep talking about all of his upside and all of his potential, and that's great and dandy. But like now you're seeing from Justin Fields what it would be like if you had a competent team that goes out every week and prepares and actually, is trying to put an offensive line in front of him. Now I'm not saying anything about the Steelers line.
But trying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, not saying that the Steelers are doing a fantastic job at the offensive line. Zach Frazier is playing fantastic. But like the rest of the offensive line is mid, I guess is how the kids say it now, right?
I just want to put that up there just so everybody who hasn't seen it can see the disaster that was that line here. I just want everybody to see. I'm sure there's one that's a bit more zoomed out, but all of they're all over here, and then this is what their O-line is doing. Yeah, it's rough.
That was absolutely the most atrocious, like attempt at blocking that I think I've ever seen in a professional sport. It is absolutely bonkers.
The worst thing is, though, is I feel like they thought they were setting him up for success by like signing DJ Moore to a contract extension and signing Keenan Allen and drafting Roma Dunze. But unfortunately, the more important thing is their offensive line. And if you don't have an offensive line in front of a rookie quarterback, they're just going to get beaten to shit. Like, look what happened to Sam Darnold when he was on the Jets. It's going to be the same. It's going to end up turning into the same situation. If you can't protect him, they're going to start losing confidence and not trusting what they're seeing. And they also just don't have a great head coach. Like I don't feel like a defensive coordinator, like an older defensive coordinator that's their head coach, is the best person to develop a rookie quarterback coming into the NFL. Yeah. It's a little bit different compared to Cliff Kingsbury in Washington. Like that's a good college coordinator. Perfect for Jaden Daniels, to develop him. Dan Quinn's the head coach, but they have an established play caller, which is why I feel like Jaden Daniels is succeeding and Caleb Williams isn't.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you. He's literally playing to what his quarterback's strengths are. And I mean, he did it with Kyler Murray too. He made Kyler Murray look like a top 5 quarterback in the league for a little while there, until Call of Duty came out.
But well, I don't think he's necessarily a good head coach, but he's clearly a good play caller. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, the Bears have a lot of other problems, and I would love to see DJ Moore go, I want out, and then the Steelers trade for DJ Moore.
Unfortunately, they just signed him, so it doesn't feel likely.
It doesn't feel like it's going to happen.
Although if you've seen his face on the sidelines,
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem happy.
Not at all. We'll move on to the Vikings and the Texans. The Texans have been pretty great this year, but like the Vikings, their defense is swarming people. Their run game is working well with Aaron Jones and even with Chandler. Is that their backup?
Ty Chandler.
Yeah, Ty Chandler. Like everything's clicking, and Sam Darnold looks like Brett fucking Favre out there right now. It's insane.
How long can this last is the real question.
That is 100% the question, because there's shows that have talked about Sam Darnold, and every team he's been on, they've loved him, except for the Jets.
Well, I mean, no one succeeds there.
Yeah. So it's very odd. And maybe he's going to turn into like the new Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he can just go somewhere and start and win you a whole mess of games and look awesome. And
when you 8 games out of 12 and
move on. All of a sudden move on. So I think it's great. I think I love seeing his resurgence. He has probably the most talented offense that he's ever played with, besides being a backup in on the Niners, so I'm really excited to kind of see this Vikings team. There's a lot of things that nobody expected them to be 3-0. And like Jay said, that week 4 to like 9 is where you see teams really come up with their identity. So I'm interested to see how the next like 3 weeks go for them. Because you know what? I'm going to look right now at teams.
They're still missing TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison. Both of them are going to come back. Like, their offense is only going to get better.
That's it. Yeah. That's just it. Is like they have so much talent on that offensive side of the ball. All they need to do is just make sure they hold it together.
I think we were just talking about the Bears, and it's insane. Like, if you look at the parallels not the parallels, but the opposites between these two teams, and everything the Bears are doing wrong currently, I feel like the Vikings are doing correctly.
Yeah.
Like, they've got a decent offensive line. Kevin O'Connell's like a younger, offensive-minded head coach, the complete opposite of Matt Eberflus. And they're taking, Caleb Williams in a vacuum is 15 times more fucking talented than Sam Darnold ever was. And that's not a knock on Sam Darnold, because he was an exceptional college quarterback, and the Jets just fucking ruined him, as we know.
Right.
But they are doing like so many things correctly, and really it's all on Darnold's shoulders. Like, if he continues to succeed, power to him, but they're going to go as far as he can carry.
Yeah. Their next 3 games are all pretty decently tough ones. Now, they get Green Bay next week, still with Malik Willis. But
maybe. I mean, it looks like
Jordan
Love might actually.
There's a good chance he's gonna.
He almost started last week.
Yeah, he's probably back this week.
He was a game time decision.
That's
last
absolutely
week,
bonkers to me that he's getting back that early.
I don't know how.
It scares me.
He's so lucky that
it's risky. It's risky.
Yeah. And then
they already just winning games.
Jets week 5 and bye week, and then the Lions in week 7. So their next 3 games are not easy games by any means.
We'll know after the next couple of games for sure.
But you also look at who they've played. They played the Niners and the Texans so far.
I mean, are the Niners that good? I don't know.
And the Texans, like, that's what I was just looking at. Like, they're 2-1, but their points scored is 55 and points against is 74. I mean, are they having some sort of defensive issues? I mean, Stroud's gonna have to step it up with 3 weeks in having a 20-point differential.
Yeah.
Well, he's just back in the Big Ten again.
Well, you think about it. He did not throw a lot of interceptions last year, and he threw 2 in that game against the Vikings.
Yeah, sure, but
he didn't really have a run game last year, and then week 1 they had a run game. Well, they haven't had that since because of the hip drop tackle on Mixon. That nobody. I don't think a single ref has called yet, but they made that illegal this year.
Doing that this year.
Like,
I don't think they're calling it.
They'd
rather call offensive line guys for being lined up funny unless it's
illegal
Taylor
formation. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless it's Juwan Taylor.
Unless it's Juwan Taylor, and they'll call it on everybody else.
Right.
But like when I'm looking at this, like I'm seeing like, okay, Houston's points for is 55, points against 74, and they're 2-1. And then you have teams like the Titans, points for 48, points against 78. Like they're not that far. Like some of the spreads on the point differentials for 0-3 teams are pretty much what Houston has right now.
Yeah. So I don't see. I see the Texans as probably still winning this division, but I don't know how good they're going to be. They really need that running game to go and take the pressure off CJ.
Yeah, I mean, how can they not win this division? Look at the rest of them. What the Titans are awful. The Jaguars are awful. Doug's probably going to get fired after this week.
Yeah, it seems that way.
The Colts, like Anthony Richardson, can't throw a pass forward with any accuracy whatsoever. I mean, they're pretty much just handed the playoffs, but they're definitely not functioning at a high level at the moment. But it's still week 3. It's basically still the preseason, so I'd expect them to get better.
Just hit me. Anthony Richardson is just Jameis and Colin Kaepernick all in one package.
Yeah.
That's Jameis.
It's actually pretty good.
Not bad.
Nuclear weapon.
Jameis before LASIK.
Yeah,
right.
Just an absolute weapon of mass destruction. But it's a 50-50 ball, even if he's throwing like a slant to a receiver. You got no fucking clue.
That was one of the funnier things when Jameis Winston was like, I'm going to be such a better football player because I got LASIK and I can see now. And it's like, what do you mean, dude? Like, what does that even mean?
He was still thrown into triple coverage.
He even said, like, he couldn't tell who it was downfield. He could just tell that there was a person. Like, it was like a person. And when you literally played, if you look at footage of his games, if they played where their jerseys were semi-similar, he threw a bunch of fucking picks.
Yeah,
that is just all the more impressive when you consider, like, all joking aside, he is probably like one of the top 5 best college quarterbacks of all time, and that FSU national championship team is one probably in the top 5, if not the top 10 most talented college football teams of all time, and he couldn't see fucking shit.
He couldn't
see 10 yards down the field.
Like,
all right.
That's rough.
So Eagles and Saints, we'll go into that one. Saints, they were just stifled. A lot of people bitching about Sirianni. How do you say his last name? Sirianni.
Cheerleader.
Literally, like,
correct.
Won the game, and they were like, "We want his head."
Me included. Like, I was there with the fucking pitchfork, bro.
Welcome to Philly.
This clown. Well, I'm just gonna give you the situation, okay? There was 12 seconds left in the second quarter. We are in field goal range. It is 4th and 1. It literally does not matter if they pick it up because there's not going to be time to do anything else with 12 fucking seconds. They went for it on 4th and 1 for literally no reason whatsoever instead of kicking the field goal to tie it. Didn't get it. Halftime. I'm just like, bro, what the hell are you doing? It just doesn't make any sense. Dude has no clue. Like, there's no logic behind any of his decision making. I cannot believe that he's even still head coach.
I mean, admittedly, the Eagles are one caught pass from Saquon being 3.
And it ain't him. They're winning despite of him, and he's going to continue to cost them games. I feel pretty confident about that. He needs to stop overriding Kellen Moore. He needs to just stay the fuck out of the way and be the cheerleader on the sideline. That's the only thing he's good at doing. Ugh.
Jesse, I have to ask you.
Do you like him at all?
Well, host Jesse, if you've never watched a Eagles game with this man, You know how he's like a really nice dude and just kind of like laid back? He turns into an absolute Eagles fan once that fucking game comes on. He's like, fuck this guy, fuck you, you're a fucking asshole, this fucking sucks. It is like a complete 180 like character switch, but it's the funniest shit ever.
Oh God, yeah.
It's pretty easy to get mad really quickly with Sirianni being.
Well, yeah. I mean, if shit that I have to watch, I just can't. It just makes me lose my mind.
Like my condolences for that loss, but fucking, I stopped over at Carly's house when he was up there for the fucking Monday night game with the Falcons, and I left like halfway through the third. Got home pretty much just in time after I picked up my dinner to watch that pick Hurts through, and I was like, I should have stuck around for a couple more minutes.
You would have seen me losing my mind about them not just running the fucking ball, kicking the field goal, going up 6 with like 40 seconds left, and then just playing fucking defense. But instead, we gotta fucking go for it for no reason. Yeah. Which, I mean, if Saquon just catches it, it's over. So it's hard to fault him. He was fucking wide open. Perfect pass. Just drops it. But you know what? Just run the ball.
Yeah. That also didn't make sense.
No.
Yeah, but this team has a lot of talent. I don't feel like they've put it all together yet.
No, not yet.
Like they haven't like hit on every cylinder. I think when they do, this team will be very scary. You obviously, again, have great offensive line, defensive line play. Devin White hasn't looked bad.
He hasn't played, unfortunately.
Oh, he hasn't?
He literally isn't even, he's a healthy scratch every week.
Is he really?
He is. They're not even using him. Vic Fangio, hates the dude, I guess, so he ain't playing.
Why did I think?
So I'm just like, well, thank God we spent money on him. You're probably thinking of Zach Bonner, Nick.
That's who I am thinking of. Okay, sorry. I was like, the linebackers have played decent, not great.
Yeah, no, they've been great, but the guy you thought was going to be good ain't playing at all. So, oh God, masterclass, I'll tell you.
But I think this team is winning despite their coaching, and the coaching needs to get together to get the team together. So
they won't.
I would agree.
Yeah. Moving on to Steelers-Chargers game. And unfortunately, I do have a lot to say about the Steelers, and I apologize now. Don't want anybody thinking like I'm the crazy homer. But there's a lot of things to talk about with this team because it's everybody's been talking about the last 3 weeks, and the defense has performed this fantastic defense has performed. And their excuse is, you faced Kirk Cousins week 1, who wasn't quite ready. And then you faced Bo Nixon in the Broncos week 2. And then you faced a Justin Herbert that was hurt. And my argument for all of that is, look what all those teams did either the previous weeks or the following weeks. The Falcons had an amazingly good offensive game the following week and then nearly beat the Chiefs had there been a PI call, on Pitts.
How would they call that?
That you'll never get.
Yeah. So the Falcons are a pretty damn good team right now. You look at the Broncos the following week, this week, they blew out the Buccaneers, who looked like one of the hottest teams in the league, 26-7. You look at the previous weeks for the Chargers, they were rushing for 200 yards a game. They were number 1 rushing offense, and they had 57 yards rushing, I think is what it was. -5 yards in the second half.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm pretty sure the Chargers in the second half of that game against us had -2 yards as a whole.
Yes.
They literally did not move forward.
Well, yes. that game was over as soon as Herbert exited. So.
You're not.
I don't know that it made a massive of course it makes a difference, but he wasn't really what did he do prior to that, really?
Yeah. The only time they scored was a broken coverage play that Herbert got. I think it was a fake QB or a wide receiver screen or something down low where JP ran up and left the guy open behind him. And so, but like that defense is producing at a historic level, and each week you're seeing Justin Fields advance, like learn and become better. This was one of his best performances of his career in this game, and it wasn't a flashy performance by any means. But if you look at the spread of where he was throwing it, I had somebody show us graphics of where his previous years were.
Uh-oh.
Hold on a second.
So let me look this up. I've been watching this too.
Honestly,
Fields.
that couldn't have been more merciful. I don't think I could have listened to him.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same
anymore.
thing. I'm just like, all right.
The Fields passing charts have been an interesting thing to talk about, but because I think they're slowly opening him up and letting him use more of the field, and I think they're slowly like loosening the reins on him and just letting him actually be his own player a little
I'm
bit
just
more every week.
confused. Just like he's not running like at all. That's what's confusing to me. Like with the exception of his like touchdown run last week, that was like in the red zone already. They're not having him use his legs, and I feel like they need to get that involved.
Arthur
Well,
Smith.
and I'm honestly surprised they're not, because all credit where credit's due. I'm not going to go to the lengths Jesse did, but they do look pretty decent. But obviously, the Achilles heel right now is that offensive line, and that's what's kind of I wouldn't say worrying, but it's just I wonder what the reason is that he's not really taking off and running as much, because that was the whole story with his Bears career. He never had a fucking offensive line in front of him, and he was kind of running for his life. And now it seems like he's trying to stay back and like be more of a pocket passer or behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, I think that's part of them loosening the reins. I feel like he's gonna start running more. I think they're like, if I can't find it right now, but like if you look at his passing charts, like week 1, he never threw to the middle of the field. Of course, it was the Falcons, and they have good safeties, so why would you do that? But he didn't throw there, and then week 2, he had a couple over the middle of the field, and then like this week, it is literally just peppered clear across the field, all of his completions. Like he's consistent from one side to the other. And I think as the year goes on, they're going to let him open up more and do a little bit more of running the ball or taking off when he wants to. It looks to me, with how they've been using him, that they're just slowly kind of easing him into the offense and doing what works this week, and then opening it up a little bit the next week, and then opening it up a little bit more the next week, and letting him kind of get comfortable with one thing at a time.
I think it's bold of you to assume that an Arthur Smith offense has more to offer.
Hey. Well,
that is fair. That's fair.
Hey, it's working.
It's it's working.
Yeah.
It's so you can't. When our defense is only allowing like 8 points a game or something like that, like 9 points a game, you don't really need to score that much.
That's just it. He just needs to do the classic Trent Dilfer analogy. Just don't do anything to lose the game, and let your defense basically carry you, and he's going to do fine.
Once you like play against a real NFL offense, though, like they're going to have to score more than 2 touchdowns. So
for sure, I think that's the thing. Is like I'm curious to see how things go. I mean, we don't really have like intimidating matchups coming up. So
yeah,
I'm definitely not going to throw cold water on it. But you had Kirk Cousins, who didn't look like he could move week 1. You had Bo Nix week 2, and then you had Justin Herbert for 3 quarters on week 3.
It's like no one's doubting the defense whatsoever. I need to see the offensive production to take them like more seriously.
Yep, absolutely.
Our points for right now are 51, which I'm pretty sure when we had Kenny Pickett, it was like probably like week 13 before we hit that a couple years ago. Legitimately, I don't know how bad. I know it was bad, but like 51 points by week 3 is a marked improvement for the Steelers offense. And yeah, points against us. We have 26 points scored against us right now. And like Joey Porter Jr. has been absolutely lights out. He literally every week their number 1 receiver gets like 1 catch for 7 yards on him, if that. Like his stats have been nuts on how he's holding the #1 receivers back, and so his sophomore year's looking good so far. So far, so good. But we did just lose an offensive lineman for the rest of the season, so that sucks. And we just have like some issues that we'll see how it goes. Our schedule isn't super intimidating the next few weeks. We play the Colts. Who all do we play? We play the Colts next week.
The Colts. There is a Jets game coming, which is going to be a fun one.
Well, we play the Colts, and the Raiders, and the
Jets. I would just warn you. You guys seem to have the same syndrome like anybody in our fantasy league does. If you have a good regular season, you'll get your barn doors blown off in the first week of the playoffs.
Well,
that's what happened when you guys went 11-0. So
and
maybe losing a couple here, tumbling a little bit down the stretch wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Well, that's exactly it. We have to our next 4 games are the Cowboys, the Colts, the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants. We need to come out of that with 1 loss.
Yeah, if we go into
the end of the season is awful for us.
Yeah, that's
well. Then again, we do play the Browns and the Bengals twice, and they all look like garbage. So
absolutely horrible.
Yeah, but you can never, even when the Browns are winning 2 games a year,
and the Ravens.
Division game a year, I'll get you.
And Lamar Jackson shits his pants every time he plays us, so I'm we'll split with them no matter what.
Goes nuts.
Yeah,
right before
he literally is. I mean, that actually is fact. I mean, you could shake your head, but look at his stats against us anytime he plays us. He has lost to Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph. Fucking
Garlic,
he is
go look
terrible
up
against
Lamar
us.
Jackson's career record against the Steelers, and it's like
I went
4-12 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's not.
I was not shaking my head about anything like Steelers or that related. We just didn't do a show last week, and I'm just reminding myself that the Raiders beat Lamar Jackson last week.
Yeah,
and then
you didn't get to talk about it.
And the Panthers this week.
yeah.
My brain, nothing makes sense.
No.
So Lamar Jackson against the Steelers has a passer of 6 games in his career has a passer rating of 66.8 with 870 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. That is his career against us.
Insane.
He's terrible against us.
But you said it too, Jace, and that was exactly what I was getting to when everybody's talked about what we've faced competition-wise. Look at what those teams done against other teams.
That's fair to say, but like I said, this year has been so fucking wacky. I don't think you can sit there and go, "Oh, well, the Broncos were a good win because they, beat the Buccaneers."
I think that's more the Bucks.
I think the Buccaneers just had a bad fucking week.
It's a rookie quarterback. You never expect a rookie quarterback.
I'm not throwing water on it. I'm just trying to temper your expectations, and I think it's more just this year has been so goofy that, like I said, did anybody pick you guys being 3-0 out of the gate? No.
I don't think anybody would have thought that Justin Fields is being decisive and throwing over the middle passes in triple coverage right between 3 defenders to...
Guess who's someone that's been a Justin Fields fan since before he was on the Steelers and has said, I think Justin Fields will be a great quarterback and he'll be our quarterback 1. I've been saying this.
Okay, but
and I will admit I'm wrong on that one for sure.
I've been saying it though. I mean, yeah,
we'll see at the end of the season, I guess.
But I mean, we'll see. But I think, it's turning out exactly as I was kind of hoping that it would for him. I think. I mean, you can't really take much stock into the games that we've won right now. I don't think it depends. We got the Cowboys to play, which they're ass. So I don't really.
I want everybody to and curb what I'm about to say a little bit. But everybody remembers Big Ben's rookie season. He didn't do anything special numbers wise. It was a run game. He would have a couple games where he threw a touchdown here or there. I don't think he had a 3-touchdown game the entire rookie season. And the Steelers went 15-1 with him. 14-0 with him as a starter.
No, I was gonna say, they went 15-1 because Tommy Maddox started week 1.
they lost week 2 when Ben came in to relieve him, and they almost won that game, but he only had a half to work.
Yeah.
Now, the defense was one of the best defenses in the league that year, reminiscent of what's going on right now. The run game.
Well, that's where all our money is. Our defense has to win us games. That's literally where all our money is. That is what our team is going to be.
Yeah.
Our team has to be our defense. There's no way around it. That's
But
where all of our money is.
They're literally
this isn't shocking.
Copy and paste from that formula back when Ben was a rookie. We had Joey Porter having an MVP season or Defensive Player of the Year season. I don't think he did get it, but
why are we talking about the 2005 Steelers?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm comparing 20 years ago Steelers
Thank you, Jace.
to this
yeah,
team.
I'm personally not sure, but
I'm just saying it's the same formula. Is what I'm getting.
This is an NFL podcast, not Jesse talks about the Steelers for 45 fucking minutes.
I will say
I appreciate the passion. I really do, and I'm not trying to cut you off here, but holy fucking shit.
You're not
You're
wrong.
going to start talking about Neil O'Donnell and fucking Bubby Brister next.
Okay.
Let's cut it back.
Yeah, let's go. Let's move on.
The only other thing to mention about the Steelers that is relevant and not about them 20 years ago is that we beat the Falcons, sure, with field goals, and 6 of them, by the way. We beat the Broncos 13-6.
Mm-hmm.
We beat the Chargers 20-10, which was the best game we've had yet.
Gotta score points.
Isn't Boswell currently your leading scorer?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Boswell. I think at least prior to them playing
Boswell
the Raiders
has more
last
points
week,
than we've allowed.
Boswell had more
It's
points than the Panthers scored before the. Yeah, Boswell does have more points than we've allowed. That is true.
I think he actually had more points than your offense. Total.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Obviously, yes,
Yeah.
he is their offense. Yeah.
Which I mean, hey, whatever you got to do to fucking win. If the dude's gonna send ICBMs from 55 every fucking game and make them, why not? I mean,
I think the only thing is that I think the trend that the team is going in is looking positive right now.
We're on this.
We're improving every week a little bit. Our offense.
I would say we'll wrap it at this. I think it needs to continue to trend because the way you're doing it right now won't be sustainable later in the year. But
no, absolutely not.
Time we'll see. We'll see how everything unfolds.
I'm just very excited to see Fields' progress throughout the season. I think that's the.
You're excited about this? I couldn't tell.
I mean, when we have teams like Cincinnati at 0-3 right now in the division, I mean,
you don't want to get me started on them.
I'd love to be in your fucking division right now. This is horse shit.
You would love to be in the AFC North.
Yes, I would.
Well, yeah.
This year.
Yeah, you come back to me late December and let me know if you still wish you were in the AFC North.
You will still have the Browns and the Bengals, so yes, I will still wish that.
All right, moving on. Next games, Broncos and Bucks. We kind of touched on that a little bit now. Bucks kind of came back down to earth. I think you get this with Baker Mayfield. You have these like almost supernatural games, like superhero-like performances, and then flat on his face. That is just how Baker Mayfield's been. You have to take the good with the bad. And that was a very bad game. I will say this about the Buccaneers. I think this is finally the year that Chris Godwin kind of takes over the number 1 slot out of Mike Evans' hands. And I'm seeing that more and more where he's becoming the go-to target over Mike Evans. I feel like that's finally happening. I don't know how you guys feel on that, but I feel like that is official.
Chris Godwin is basically becoming Cooper Kupp. So is Rashee Rice. They're literally Cooper Kupps, at least fantasy-wise.
Yes.
They're just catching 13 passes in a game.
A lot of Mike Evans he's just had horrible, like, cornerback matchups. Like, he constantly has, like, the outside number 1 corner on him. And Chris Godwin, they moved him back into the slot, so has a little bit of an easier go than he does. But he is, like, 3 or 4 years younger than Mike Evans, so it makes sense for him to kind of take over the role anyway.
And I think this was just a kind of an outlier game, and like Jesse said, I think the key to the Bucks is if you take away Mike Evans, because they're fucking, god damn it, I can't even think of who their starting running back is right now because Rashad White's splitting.
Bucky Irving, baby.
Bucky Irving season, baby.
Bucky Irving, yeah, Bucky.
He like hurt his groin, but then like came back into the game, but then really didn't do anything when he came.
He cannot run the ball. It's bad. Like everything I'm reading, he's averaging like 2 yards per carry, and the rookie's averaging like 7. So I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they just got no, actually, forgive me. They didn't just get Tristan Wirfs back. The Browns just got Jedrick Wills back. I don't know why I got those two confused. But no, he had Pat Surtain this week on Mike Evans, which no disrespect to Mike Evans, but he is no spring chicken. And that wasn't going to be an easy matchup for him from the get-go. And yeah, at that point, you basically have to lean on your running game, which they haven't really had.
One, yeah.
Yeah, and Chris Godwin, which Chris Godwin's a good receiver. I would dare to say, like in this day and age, a great receiver, but he's not enough to just win you the game on his own.
Yeah, that
I
was
guess it's just
what Mike Evans was when he was younger, is be able to take over a game.
Yeah, and he still can with the right, in the right scenario. But if you're just going to throw your best corner at him, I wouldn't. This doesn't really concern me. I think it was just. If you watch this game, it was pretty much, I wouldn't say over, but the Broncos had such a hot start and the Buccaneers just stumbled so badly out of the gate that they were down like, 28-7 or something at one point.
It was bad.
The Bucs defense was missing a lot of starters too, I will say that. But.
And they did almost climb back out of that hole. Like, they did mount a pretty significant comeback. They just fell a little bit short. But no, I think you just dust yourself off and move on.
Yep. I still think this Buccaneers team is the favorite for that division, even though the Saints really started off hot. I think the Saints are. I think everybody kind of exposed them. That Eagles game kind of exposed them a little bit. And I don't feel like they are going to sustain that success.
Just pressure Derek Carr. All you got to do.
That's really it. Like,
I could have
they
told
looked
you that.
really, really great, but you still got Derek Carr. Packers and Titans kind of expected this. I will say Malik Willis has actually done really well in relief for Jordan Love, and I don't. This is gonna sound rude, but like, I don't credit it so much to Malik Willis. I credit it to Matt LaFleur, like completely
100%.
Making a game plan that focuses on what their strengths are. And it doesn't matter who knows what it is, because everybody knows they're going to run the ball a ton and all this stuff. And he doesn't care. He still has designed this game plan, and it's working. When they get the fact that they have won 2 games without Jordan Love, when he gets back and this team kind of goes back to normal, this Packers team could be dangerous.
I think they were a problem before, but yeah, credit to LaFleur for really, this is just a testament to good coaching. Just really, really playing to your backup quarterback strengths. I mean, that game last week, who did they play last week that they had like something?
Titans.
Was it? I thought they played the Titans this week.
Oh, they did. Yeah, it was the Colts last week. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, the Colts last week. Yeah, that running game clinic they put on against the Colts was like a sight to behold. Like, I guarantee you, like, Army and Navy's, like, coaches were watching that and touching themselves to it. Like, oh, my God. Like, they were, like, running, like, speed options and shit. Like, it was beautiful to see in an NFL game. But, yeah, this team really is very well coached. And, like Jesse said, everybody was kind of like, oh, shit, Malik Willis, they're going to lose a couple here and there. He's come out and looked strong, and it's pretty much he's going to hand the ball right back off to Jordan Love when he's healthy, and this offense has 18 people to throw the fucking ball to, so no reason they shouldn't be good.
The other thing is, like, you've got to think about, he's only been there for like 18 days or something.
They just traded for him before the season started.
Before the season started, and then he had to come in at the end of the game week 1. Like, insane what he's been able to do. And everybody, again, wrote that guy off saying like, oh, there's your draft bust. But then you look at him performing well and look at what the Titans are doing right now. And a lot of what their problems are stemming from their quarterback and his miraculous decision making. I mean, he does put mayonnaise in coffee, so his decision making is the best.
What a kick in the nuts to be a Titans fan on Sunday. Malik Willis comes back to Tennessee and just kicks Will Levis's fucking mayo loving ass.
Wrecks him.
I literally never want to see Will Levis play football again, but I keep picking them to win games. I have no idea why. Like, get this fucking guy off my screen, please. Oh, but guess what? He's on Monday Night Football this week, so thank God.
Fantastic.
Great.
All right, move into the game that Jace loves to talk about: Panthers and Raiders. Andy Dalton's return.
He just walks off.
I was gonna say there goes Jace, but now he's finishing the beer.
Yeah, you better finish that.
Yeah, and I did have a lot of high hopes, especially from that comeback win against the Ravens the week prior. The Raiders are gonna be an up and down team, and the problem with them is you don't have a run game to take the pressure off of Minshew right now. And we thought they were going to have a good run game because of how Zamir White performed at the end of the season last year. Thought going into this season, holy shit, yeah. But they get behind early, have to bail on the run game, and end up passing it 50 times, and you just can't do that with Gardner Minshew. What is your take, Jace?
I'm not worried. This is just fun fact. Andy Dalton is now 5-0 against the Raiders in his career.
The Red Rocket, baby.
He has never lost a game against us. So we just have this weird, like, I talked about it. I kind of had bad vibes for this game. I had but it's from the IOs, but I had bad vibes. We do this every time, like Nick Mullins, that Thursday night game, fucking Baker with the Rams, the year they literally traded for him on Tuesday, and he beats us on fucking
He flew
Thursday.
on the plane and was reading the playbook on the way there because he was going to start in a day.
Like, yes. We have a habit of doing this, and I think it's kind of difficult. You see 2 weeks of Bryce Young, and this is a relatively young coaching staff, and then all of a sudden, we have to game plan for a completely different quarterback the week before the game, which, I mean, it's the NFL. You should be able to adapt to that. Our defense is not as bad as it looked on Sunday. I really don't know what that was. The offensive line is going to need some time to come together. Our guard play has not been good. Cody Whitehair blows, but Jackson Powers, I can't remember. The kid we drafted from Oregon, he's just now healthy, and he'll be playing left guard. This team's, it's like the old golf adage where it's better to shit your pants on the third hole than it is on 18, because at least if you do it on the third hole, you got time to make up. If you lay a fucking stinker like this at the end of the year, this could, I mean, and I'm not saying that we're a playoff team by any means. I think we're a long ways off. But at the moment, especially if we don't fucking bench Minshew, offensive line's got to play together. But regardless,
see, I don't think it's Minshew though. I don't think it's Minshew's fault.
Well, he played okay the first 2 weeks. This week, when you watched him, yeah, the offensive line hasn't been great, but he's not looking downfield when he gets pressured. Like, you watch, he literally has the ball in his hands and he starts looking at his feet. Like, he is not looking to, like, get open or improvise or anything, which he was doing at the end of the Baltimore game. But he didn't do it week 1. He looked okay week 2, and then week 3, he just kind of went back to looking like super, almost like Pickett, where it was like, I'm going to immediately get happy feet and just, I don't know. O'Connell came in, and yeah, it was against like probably their second team defense, but he led us right down the field. Took one bad sack, but yeah, we went down and scored in a fucking 2-minute drill.
I didn't watch. Did he have his diaper chin strap?
I'm not sure.
He always wears that thing, man.
By that point, I was literally just kind of staring at my TV like this, just despondently.
You're like, how did we lose to the Panthers? Yeah, I mean,
no, this is classic Raiders. This is what, even the years that I remember when we were decent, like 2016. You look at who we lost to that year. The teams that we lost to didn't have a combined winning record on them. But we played with the teams that were, like, playoff quality and, like, Super Bowl caliber teams. That's just the Raider way, baby. I love it. But
we have
no, I'm not. I'm definitely not hitting the panic button or putting a paper bag on just yet.
There's got to be a lot of improvements on the run game. I think that's the bottom line that will help this team.
If we have one Russell Wilson for you, if you would like
to
take him.
Yeah.
No,
we'll take him for one Devontae Adams.
I'll just say, like, what was the whole?
Especially no, absolutely no. No, I don't think Minshew is the answer. And Pierce already said this week that we're already open to looking at changes at the quarterback position. So I think if Minshew comes out this week and probably has a bad first maybe quarter or first like bad 2 or 3 drives, it's O'Connell for the rest of the year, and we will be much better.
All right, moving on then. Seahawks and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins season is going to be a very big wash this season, and it's all because of...
Fuck you, Scotty.
Yeah, he's in there. Scotty in our chat here is a massive Seahawks fan.
Yeah.
And he said Steelers suck, so do the Raiders.
I think it's very weird that the Seahawks are 3-0 and they're like the least talked about 3-0 team. In the
well, I mean, if you want to just take a look at who they've played, you'll understand why they're 3-0, unfortunately. But we'll see against the Lions. Because who they played Skylar Thompson last week. They beat the Patriots in week 2, and then week 1 they played Bo Nix. So that's a weaker schedule than the Steelers' schedule.
Yeah, that actually, those are weaker wins than the Steelers.
I'm not talking shit on the Seahawks. I'm just saying that they haven't played anybody.
Yeah, right.
It came down to a last-minute drive to beat Bo Nix, too.
Yeah. Tua was in this game.
I don't know that Tua would have made much of a difference, honestly. Tua looked like shit when he was in
their offensive line looks rough.
They just look bad. Yeah. I mean, Tua should just retire. He's not going to. He's going to come back.
He's going to come back and just get himself hurt again.
And then he'll literally just be a vegetable.
He's going to retire at 32 and have like
won't be able to walk or something.
Yeah, I think that's the story with Seattle is that, they've played the Patriots, they played the Broncos with Bo Nix first rookie game, and they've played Miami, who, I mean, obviously
the run game's been fantastic for them. Even with Walker out, Charbonnet's been in there and done well.
Charbonnet's been doing great, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, Geno Smith makes it work somehow, some way.
He's a very serviceable person. I don't know when they plan on or if they plan on moving on from him, but like he doesn't.
Paid him,
feels
didn't they, 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he feels like Andy Dalton now. Like back in the day when Andy Dalton was that line between average quarterback.
The Andy Dalton line. Yeah,
the Andy Dalton line.
I
think Geno Smith is the owner of the Andy Dalton line.
Yeah, he is now. Well, Andy Dalton's above the Andy Dalton line.
He is, actually.
Against the Raiders, at least.
Scotty's such a big Seahawks fan is just because they got a geriatric at quarterback. Geno's only a couple years away from joining you in the fucking nursing home.
Yeah, the thing is that if they keep a running game going, Geno Smith doesn't have to be anything spectacular.
That's it. That's 100% it. And they have 2 fantastic running backs that
and good receivers
and very good receivers. So an average game manager quarterback is all they really need.
Well, and then let's see.
Yeah, JSNs look good. It's kind of a pretty good thing it's a good problem to have when people they're like, oh, Tyler Lockett's still playing.
Tyler Lockett's the odd man out right now.
Well, the Seahawks are going to have their time to prove themselves because next week they play the Giants, and then they play the Niners, the Falcons, the Bills, the Rams, the Niners, the Cardinals, the Jets, the Cardinals, the Packers, the Vikings. So
they have a difficult schedule coming.
Yeah.
I almost laughed when you started that sentence with the Giants, and then
I mean, they could come out 4-0, but I mean, Niners, Falcons, Bills, even.
Well, they play the Lions this week, so that's going to be their first test. But
yeah, they play the Lions, Giants. Yeah, Niners, Falcons, Bills.
They're gonna run into a buzzsaw coming up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
They do play the
rough.
Bears week 17.
Yeah, they got that
Oh,
one.
well, that's a bye week. So.
The Bears will be tanking to get like the second overall pick by that point.
So I think they'll. I mean, if they're good, they'll be able to prove. Here's your opportunity to prove yourself. So.
Yeah, that's it.
They need to separate now, though, while the Niners and Rams are down, and the Cardinals, I guess. So.
Big time.
Yeah, because they're gonna go through a stretch where that's like all they're playing is division games for like all of like November. It looks
it's
like
very weird how
like
they
they're just gonna
all
be
the
playing
division games up.
I don't understand what the hell NFL scheduling was doing this year. These are some of the worst schedules I've ever seen, and like all the divisional games being clumped together.
The Steelers don't have a divisional game till like week 10, don't you?
Yeah. And we literally the last 8 weeks of our season are all of our division games and the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Yeah.
That is the last 8 weeks of our season.
Now, looking at our division now, I was really like, oh shit, the second half of our season's rough. Looking at our division now, I'm like, oh, the second half of our season's going to be rough in that little segment where we play the Eagles and Chiefs.
Well, the problem is that those games are like back to back to back.
Yeah,
those
division games.
Divisional rivals, you cannot.
We play the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Eagles in a 10-day span.
I'm sorry, we're not losing to a team from Ohio this year.
Well, just clip this right now because.
Oh my God. Harley, will you get a hold of him? Will you fucking control him?
Are you kidding me?
I mean, I think
be the voice of reason.
With everybody, like I think we sweep the Browns. We usually typically do. They look like garbage, but like we'll split with the Bengals and the Ravens.
What?
I mean that's just how it always goes. I mean, I don't know. Splitting with the Bengals and the Ravens will be fine.
The Bengals can't possibly be as bad as what they are right now, can they?
Their look like shit in September.
It's fucking garbage, I know. It's
they're trash.
They can only go up, though.
Their defense isn't what's going to beat us.
Well, yeah.
See, that's the way our defense is performing. I'm not afraid of any offense out there. Maybe the Chiefs.
I Jack Taylor for ruining my touchdown parlay.
There's no one out there besides maybe the Bills or the Chiefs that I could say I'm afraid of offensively. The Bengals do not frighten me in the least bit. They always fuck themselves every time they play the Steelers.
Hey, real quick, we got to. Scotty just said in the chat they just got the lights out announcement at the nursing home. So everybody say good night.
Good night, Scotty.
Yeah, good night, Granddad. Have a good night.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think splitting with the Ravens and the Bengals is probably the best realistic. I think we'll split the Browns, but
we were talking about the Seahawks, and now we're back on the AFC North.
Sorry.
Anyway, Jesse's sipping some fucking Jonestown fucking Kool-Aid right now. Is what he's
blame Jesse for saying that we won't lose to an Ohio team this year.
Yeah,
which means the first game you play against one of those teams is a loss, just because you saw.
I honestly, I hope you guys have a good enough season that you can sustain it. But just because Jesse said that, it would be funny if you go 0-4 against the Browns and the Bengals.
That would be impossible, I think. But
it probably won't happen. But I will play this on repeat.
We're gonna clip it. All right, Lions and Cardinals. I don't feel like the Lions have hit on all their cylinders yet at all.
Get down.
But they are they're winning games when they should. I just don't think they are putting out the performance that they're expected to. But again, first 3 weeks, I think when you see this team in 3 weeks from now, it'll be a different animal. Laporta hasn't got going. He's kind of hurt. The running game's been great. St. Brown's done well. They're not putting a ton of points on the board when you expected them to. So I don't think that, I think much like the Eagles, they're doing this well and then not this well this week, and then vice versa, and then flipping. And I don't think they have it all together, but that's what you kind of see in these first couple weeks. So I expect good things from them, but they go into the Cardinals and win a good game. The Cardinals are going to be a very up and down team all year. That's how they
It's
always are. Depends on what double XP weekends out.
it's funny that you mentioned them being like the Eagles because like when you think about it, like really their coaching situation is not that different between the
No, it's
Lions and the
not.
Yeah,
Eagles
because
because
Dan
Yeah,
Campbell makes
Dan
he
dumb
Campbell
loses
needs to
choices.
get
games
out of
for
his
them
own way.
so many times. Like
yeah,
that's exactly it.
he's even worse than fucking Brandon Staley. Like some of the fucking bone like I feel bad because I just know like you can tell Campbell's one of those just in the trenches, just like a coach you want to fucking go to
He
war
is a
for.
motivator. He's got this
But
team
he
motivated.
just because he is one of the guys, he just very much feels like he's out there and he's like, I believe in my team and we're gonna roll the dice. And it's like you have to fucking just temper, temper your
Reel it in.
expectations. Yes,
Reel
right.
it in.
It's okay to believe in your guys, but it's almost getting to a point where it's almost to a fault.
They need to have somebody paid on that staff that just rocks over and slaps Dan Campbell before he makes different decisions.
Yeah, they need
That
their
guy,
own big Dom, is what they need, because that's what he
we
does with
do need a
Sirianni.
big
I
Dom.
think I think what they need like a hire a 14-year-old who's like ranked at Madden, because I think even like that kid's decision making, the shit you do on Madden, he's gonna walk over and put his hand on Dan Campbell's shoulders and go, "Look, even for me, this shit's bonkers. All right,
I
just
get
kick the
you don't
ball
want
away.
to.
Just
Like, you can punt it.
even
You know how to
I'm
punt
advocating a punt here. You know,
it.
I will say though, the Cardinals got completely robbed in that game. Like I don't know if you guys saw, but whenever they, I think it was Jared Goff threw a pick six, but they blew it dead because of the 2-minute warning. But they actually snapped the ball before the 2-minute warning, and then of course the Lions went on to score a touchdown on that drive and completely changed the game.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I've never seen that happen before, and the call was astronomically wrong.
Oh. If I were a Cardinals fan, I'd. Oh.
Respectfully though, I think just on style points, that hook and ladder touchdown they ran with St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs, I think they should have gotten like the NFL Street game breaker, and then it should have just been over right there. Yeah, like that was sick as fuck.
So yeah, fantastic game. I'm excited to see what the Lions. Again, that was my Super Bowl pick for the NFC. Go to the Ravens, Cowboys. Cowboys fucking almost found a way to pull this off the end with an onside kick, like the first one of the year. The late game heroics from Dak. Every fucking Dallas Cowboy fan wants to fucking shoot Dak in the face. They want him gone. They hate him so much. And I just don't understand the hate. I'm not a Dak hater. I feel like there's nobody out there right now that would give them a better chance to win the game. They just think that they can fire him and move on, like get rid of him and move on, and it's just not the case. Realistically, they had.
Well, he's the highest paid quarterback now, so
yeah, it ain't happening now, buddy. When Kellen Moore was there, he was a great offensive coordinator, and they did some really great offensive things. But that defense looks like pedestrian right now. They talk about, oh, this is supposed to be such a good defense, and they just do not look able to take over a game at all. At any point in time, you have Micah Parsons, oh, you should have been the defensive player of the year. Doesn't look like it at all. Like, he's not blowing games. He's not taking it over. They're letting so much shit go by. There's a lot of people talking. They're not putting in the effort. I sent you a TikTok of I think it was Juwan Jones or John Jones or whatever, your one corner.
Jack Jones.
Jack Jones. Yeah. So, and his effort on the plays where he's like running to a block and then just kind of as they run by him. There's so many of the Cowboys defenders that are also doing that type of shit. And they can't stop anybody. They're trying to go around blocks and not work their through them. It's that's where they need to get better.
The Dallas fans are just
delusional.
Dare I say, not that I care about hurting any of their feelings, because I don't think any of them can figure out how to type in YouTube to a fucking web browser. But Dak is not the problem. Like you said, it's the defense has been lackluster, and just you've got Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott. It's kind of the same problem that the Raiders are having, and they almost did the same thing to the Ravens that the Raiders did. Is just in spite of no running game, just being able to just come out and go, fuck it, we're just going to flick this thing around and we're going to throw the ball. And they damn near made a comeback. But no, Dak is far from the problem. I don't even think their defense is the problem. I think the problem is Mike McCarthy. And I would be willing to bet, even though maybe he is going to unfairly, maybe he shouldn't get fired for it, but they're not going to have a good start to this year. Somebody's going to be Jerry Jones' scapegoat, and it's going to be fucking Mike McCarthy.
Why? I believe his contract's up after this season, is it not? And they didn't extend him?
Yeah, he's a lame duck coach right now, correct?
Yeah.
I'll actually say that it's more on Jerry Jones, though. Like, he's the guy who said that they were all in the offseason and then went on to make absolutely zero additions to the team and expecting them to get better, which just isn't how it works. Like, he's definitely the most to blame for why they're struggling right now. And the reality is, Dak doesn't have that much. If you double CeeDee Lamb, they have no one else, and that's what's happening. CeeDee Lamb is getting doubled, and they can't do anything because Brandon Cooks is like, what, 30-year-old receiver?
Eighth team or something? I feel like he's on a different team every
year. Yeah, what does that say? I mean, he's always been good, like, when he was younger, but what does it say that he can't stay on the same team, like, for very long?
Yeah. They don't. I said it for the last, 2 years, all their downfalls come to when their defense fails them, and it's not Dax.
Well, Micah Parsons is too busy worrying about what other people are doing on his little podcast, so I'm not surprised that he's not focused on football, but...
Yeah.
I mean, they're just... I don't know what to say about them. Like, expecting your running game to function with Ezekiel Elliott is just laughable. And
gotta get Dalvin Cook.
I don't really have anybody else. Yeah. Might as well give him a shot at this point, but I'm sure he hasn't been looking too great. That's why he hasn't been called up yet. So
yeah, I don't know. Ferguson also, missed a ball flying right at his hands, and didn't it cause an interception? Just went right through his hands.
A lot of their comeback probably was more to do with the Ravens just letting their foot off the gas because they were killing them until the fourth quarter.
They got an onside kick.
I don't know how, because the NFL basically made that illegal at this point. So
I'll tell you how, because now that Justin Tucker's washed up, Brandon Aubrey is the best kicker in football.
He is, without question.
So yeah, they just got kind of lucky at the end of that, and almost got lucky to a point where they were gonna, if their defense would have stopped them, they would have had a chance to win it. So. Oh, Niners and Rams. The whole Niners offense is hurt. They are showing, Purdy cannot win the games by himself without a supporting cast. You're not wrong.
Okay.
So it's rough for that Niners team. I think, if they can come out of it and at 500 and, get Debo back, get Kittle back, I don't think CMC's playing this season.
I just want to stop you right there for a second. Matthew Stafford has even less around him and still won that game. That tells you everything you need to know. Purdy, I can't. But
insane to me that they won that game. Insane. Insane.
I mean, I'm not super surprised because it's a division game, and that's just always, it just doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, the Rams did get their left tackle back that was suspended, and that made a massive difference on at least one of their holes in the offensive line. But Stafford's still throwing to nobody.
Yeah, he's
he has way less weapons. Boy. Yeah, I mean, where's $30 million Ayuk at? Juwan Jennings is too busy not being the number one receiver instead of him. Come on now.
It's making me very excited and happy that trade didn't happen because of how bad he has been.
Oh, yeah, he looks like somebody who hasn't participated in training camp is what he does.
Literally, he was too worried about his contract and holding out for, who was he going to get traded to this fucking week? It was the Steelers, and then it was this team, and then it was this team, and then it was the Steelers again, then the Steelers, and then this team, and
yeah, he's signing. No, he's not signing. And the fact that
I believe he had a ball hit him in the hands in the end zone, and mind you, if my memory serves me, it was pretty decent coverage. But it was a ball he should have caught, and he just fucking Roberto Duran, hands of stone, fucking bricked the fucking thing.
Their defense, though, is also in major trouble. Javon Hargrave's already on IR. Like, he's gone for the season. He, like, has a partial tear in his pec, I believe. Like, he's done. He's not, I forget, they lost somebody else on the defensive side. Like, what's their excuse, though? Like, they still have a lot of stars on defense, and they're getting gashed by Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford with no weapons.
They weren't sure if Bosa was going to play because of a rib injury, but I believe he did play that game. But again,
they just look.
He won Defensive Player of the Year and really hasn't done much since.
No, I mean they just look like the team that's run out of luck on their injury luck because they were like one of the healthiest teams last year, and now like it's all just completely like the law of averages is coming back, and now they're just getting fucked by injuries. So I just feel like this is going to be your typical Super Bowl hangover season for them.
Yep, I think I agree.
Yeah, how many snaps did Joey play against the Steelers? That's what those two do. They just get fucked.
They're always out. Yeah, they get hurt a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Joey was out like after the second series, I think is what it was. Like
I think he did. He was out like in the first 4 or 5 plays.
Was it? Was it that early? Because I know it was early.
Pretty sure.
Like it was either the first or the second series against the offense, and he was out. Because the first series was a 3 and out. There was 4 3 and outs to start, but then. Like, I think that following drive where it was something of sustainability where they got a first down is when he went out. So I think it was the third series, but it was like the 7th play on defense. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Like, he literally just sat there with his helmet on the whole second quarter.
Yeah. All right. Chiefs and Falcons. We kind of touched in on that game. Should have been a PI in the end zone. The Chiefs are in. They're not going to lose the stigma of the refs being on their side. The Patriots had that years ago. Now the Chiefs have it, and it is very, very hard not to make that argument when it's consistent. If it wasn't a consistent thing, and it was here and there, you wouldn't be able to. The conspiracy theorist, it would be a conspiracy theory, but like it is almost legitimately week in and week out. Now, I will say, the Falcons' final drive, they got like 2 or 3 first downs due to penalties on the Chiefs. And had they not ran the garbage of a play on 4th and 1, they may have been able to win the game. But they're going to go back to the PI call that should have happened in the end zone. They're going to go back the week prior to the PI call that a lot of people feel didn't, but if you watch the replay, it was. So there's part of me that says yes, they are getting a little bit of favoritism, but I don't think it's as egregious as everybody has been making it out to yet. The PI call on pitch definitely should have been called.
I firmly and wholly disagree. They are getting every break in the book because we just talked about it in the chat today or yesterday. Derwin James gets 1 game suspension for, repeated violations of player safety.
Yep.
They lose Justin Herbert. And who do they play next week? The fucking Chiefs. Like, you cannot tell me they were like, hey, guys, we'll just give you a mini bye. Like, you can just take this week off, basically.
And we know Travis Kelce has to go to a Swiftie concert.
Literally. Like,
dude, he looks cooked. Like, he's done nothing. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I get that Rashee Rice has pretty much taken over his role, but at some point they're going to stop Rashee Rice because they're literally running the exact same play over and over again. Mahomes is just lining up and throwing the same slant to Rashee Rice, and he's open every single time. The second they take that away, Kelce's going to have to do something, which I expect him to, but I don't know. He's also 35.
A lot of Kelce's shit is improvisation.
It is, yeah.
He runs a button hook, but then like drifts into a hole in a zone, or he's supposed to run an out, but he sees the coverage, so he'll run, a 15-yard out instead of his normal 7-yard out or something. Like, a lot of his stuff is the connection between him and Patrick Mahomes, which can't knock him on it. He's an athlete, he knows the game enough to be able to do that. But like, they were using him just basically to be a blocker in the run game. And Patrick Mahomes has not had a good season so far. And what I was getting at is I feel like the Bengals game call was a legitimate call, but I also feel like it was subjectified, like they could have let that one go. It was close enough to let it go. But if you slow it down, he was there early. But yeah, they got calls in the Falcons game, but they also, like I said, got calls on that final drive against them. So they're trying to make up for it, but they're not doing a good job at trying to hide it, I guess is the best way to say it.
Oh, they're not trying to hide it. They're just literally letting you know Mahomes is our poster boy, and this is what you're gonna get, and fuck you. So
yeah,
if I had to hear three-peat one more fucking time, it's gonna blow my brains out. I know that.
I feel like this is something not good for the
I agree,
NFL
but
or
of course
the
it's
league.
not good for the NFL.
They love it for some reason.
Clip it. No three-peat. It's not happening. They will not win 3 in a row. Fuck you, Mahomes. Herbert sounding motherfucker.
Moving to the Monday games, the Bills just absolutely destroyed the Jaguars. Josh Allen's having an MVP type of season. 9 touchdowns.
They look like the best team right now, to me at least.
And we were, we talked about, and I will go back to the episode. We talked about them forecasting, and I said, I don't understand why people are down on the Bills. Yeah, they lost Diggs, but I don't feel like they lost a lot of other things. I feel like they're still going to be good. I did say I said I think the Jets may be able to win the division, but I'm 95% sure I picked the Bills to win the division. And here they are. They're looking like the best team in the NFL right now. I think it's exciting to watch Josh Allen. I think week 1 he kind of like willed them to the win, but then like after that things have really gone his way, and James Cook has been fucking fantastic. Like amazing. I love the signs. Things are great when James cooks.
I know, I saw that. That's hilarious.
So, yeah, the Bills, fantastic. And then I don't know how much more there is to say about it, but like they're going to be a really exciting team to watch all season. Until
the Jaguars,
lose in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs.
To the Chiefs, yeah. Well, of course. But the Jaguars, though, I feel like it's the bigger discussion. Like, what the hell? Like, they have been horrible, like, all year. I just don't understand. Like, is Trevor Lawrence that bad? Like, I know that there's actually been talk. Like, Doug has come out and literally said, well, you know what? We're looking at everything, including quarterback. Like, if they actually bench him, which I don't think they'll have the balls to do, but don't be surprised if they do, like, by halftime against the Texans when it's, like, 20-0. So, I don't know, man. Like,
it is pretty insane how bad he's been.
I saw a thing the other day, and I wish I would have saved it, but literally everybody is like, oh, Trevor Lawrence is a franchise quarterback and shit on Daniel Jones, and you put their fucking numbers next to each other, and they are nearly identical. Yep. Like, Trevor Lawrence is just Daniel Jones with long hair.
And they just paid him, and their stadium is literally named Trevor Bank Stadium, which is even more atrocious. So good luck, Jags fans.
Yep. Best of luck to you.
Feel for you.
Yeah, so that's a bad team. I feel horrible for them. Not really. I don't really care.
They shouldn't be as bad as what they are, but
no,
that's the worst part.
But that's the thing is like they always seem to screw themselves so much. What was it? 5 years ago they were in AFC Championship or something like that?
With Blake Bortles, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And the team had an awesome defense, and everything was going really well. And then just poor decision after poor decision. So, yeah.
And then even like when they hired Doug, they made the playoffs and won a playoff game their first year, and it's just been all downhill since. I just don't really understand.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Other than Trevor Lawrence might be the problem.
Yeah, right. And then we go to the other Monday night game with the Commanders and Bengals, and the Bengals now dropping to 0-3. I still don't feel like Burrow is all the way healthy. It doesn't seem like he is. And yeah, I don't think there was a punt in that game till the fourth quarter. So that was crazy. and we talked about Jaden Daniels, is that they built a offensive scheme that just was awesome for his skill set. Like, just absolutely amazing. I love what I saw from him. He was making good decisions. They were getting him in good situations. I think I said, beginning of season, I think this Commanders team is a sneaky one in this division. And if I'm not mistaken, they're leading the division, are they not?
I mean, they're tied with 2-1, but yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, I mean, they're going to be a sneaky team this year, and it all
Problem
comes
with
down
them
to
is their defense is just as bad as the Bengals defense.
That's
so.
it. Their defense is not good.
No,
So
and
they're
I feel
going
like
to win games in despite of their defense, basically.
For sure.
Well, and there's a lot of teams in the league that could take note from, Sirianni being one, and I know we've talked about a couple others tonight, but Dan Quinn is a defensive-minded head coach, and he is obviously letting somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about mentor Jaden Daniels and run this offense, and he is just staying completely the fuck out of the way of it, and it's working. Just be smart enough to know what you don't know, and that's what Dan Quinn's doing.
That's it. Okay.
Couldn't agree more with that.
Let me open up our picks for the week, and Carly's not here. I'm not sure what happened to her.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything either.
Yeah, not sure what exactly happened, but she just disappeared. Window.
Let's say bad things about her while she's not here.
Oh my God, where is our picks? Trying to find where I made the sheet for all the rage picks. I'm not sure where the hell it went. Crazy. I lost it. Whatever. Either way.
Well, if we're missing Carly, why don't we just kind of abbreviate this and just make our picks for this week?
We're gonna go through just real quickly, just pick our winners, and kind of go from there at that point. Thursday night's game, tomorrow's game, the Cowboys and Giants. I have actually a deep desire in me to go with the Giants on this one, but I can't get myself to do it. So I am going with the Cowboys, but a little bit reluctant on doing so.
I would love nothing more than for the Giants to beat them, but I'm still going to pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I don't know what our overall record on picks is this year, but just because this year's been so wacky, I'm taking the Giants.
Every week there's one of those games where it's like whoever's like +6 is going to just win outright.
And I mean, is it very likely that the Giants do it in back-to-back weeks after they were underdogs to the Browns? Probably not, but it's a divisional game, and I mean, if the Giants came out and laid an egg against the Browns, this would be a no doubter. But they at least showed some signs of life before we signed the fucking DNR. So yeah, I'll go with the Giants just because I feel like that'll just be a weird fucking upset game.
I can dig it. All right, let me find out.
Starting off the week 0-1 with my picks, bro.
Off to a great start.
That's it. Saints and Falcons. I think this is a Falcons game. I think the Falcons are going to start their trend upward from this game forward.
I agree with you. I think I like the Falcons need it more, and I feel like the Saints, I mean, they're actually dealing with a good amount of injuries. There's a lot of DNPs on their injury report as of today, so I don't know. I'm going to go Falcons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Falcons as well. I think, again, everybody's already dumping all over my boy Derek Carr, but yeah, I think the Saints, or not the Saints, but the Falcons will get enough pressure on him, and this actually just will honestly come down to Bijan versus Kamara.
Yeah, I think you're right. I like that.
I'm taking the Saints then.
Taking the Saints, going against both. Okay. Panthers Bengals. I think this is Andy Dalton revenge game. I think this is Panthers all the way.
Jesus Christ. I can't possibly, like, if the Bengals can't beat the Panthers, like, I can't.
It's
I have no hope for them.
2024 and we're talking
I know.
about an Andy Dalton game.
No, but he's only going to look good against the Raiders. Unfortunately, I'll pick the Bengals.
Fuck you.
Well, you knew it too. You knew you felt that shit coming.
I fucking did, but you didn't have to say that out loud.
No, you're right.
On the internet like you just did.
It's now
Someone
out there forever.
I honestly, I'm with Jesse. I think the Panthers are good. I'm not saying they're good. I think they're good enough to rattle off like 2 or 3 after this, and then you'll start to see all of a sudden, oh, okay, they're going to come back down.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. They're going to ride this wave, and it'll be like, oh my God, they're back. They can totally do it with Andy Dalton. Then he's going to have a game where he throws 3 interceptions, and then it's back down into the shitter again.
I just feel like the Bengals have too much talent to be 0-4, but if that happens, I mean, they're cooked.
Well, I'm not going to make parallels between the Bengals and the Raiders by any means, but I had bad vibes, but I was like, we're immensely more talented. We should just fucking steamroll. And you saw what happened. So
yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that.
Bengals get a top 5 draft pick this year.
Clip it. I'm going with
Clip
the Panthers.
that shit. All right, Bears and Rams. I think this is Rams all the way. I don't care who's his Stafford's receivers. It's going to be the Rams in this one.
I agree. I'm taking the Rams. I can't possibly in a fucking fit light. I can't even speak. I can't take Caleb Williams. Rams.
Vikings Packers. This is going to be one of the best 1:00 games, I feel. Depending on who starts, whether it's Malik or Jordan Love, I don't think it really sways me. I think it's going to be the Vikings. I feel like overall they're just the better team no matter which quarterback's starting. But I think it's also going to be an immensely close game, like field goal with final seconds kind of game.
Can I put an asterisk in for this one?
Sure.
If Malik starts, I want the Vikings. But if Jordan Love starts, I want the Packers.
Okay. I can dig it.
I would have to agree. Like, if Jordan Love plays, I'm probably picking the Packers because I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings come back to earth at division game on the road.
I'm picking the Packers outright.
Yeah, I think I don't even actually no. If Malik Willis plays, I'm taking the Packers. If Jordan Love plays, I'm taking the Vikings.
See, that's
because whatever doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That also makes sense, but I will just I'm taking the Packers. I'm sticking with my gut.
Yeah, Packers.
All right. Texans, Jags. Texans, sorry. There's nothing to talk about there.
Nope,
Texans.
Steelers, Colts. Again, I almost feel like there's not a whole lot to talk about in this one either. I think this is a Steeler game. I think there might be 2 interceptions in this game.
I feel like this could be a trap game.
I don't disagree with you. I definitely feel like it could be.
But also I feel like this one's tough. Because I think you guys will get enough pressure on Richardson to make him squirm and make bad decisions. But I also think, and Joey Porter Jr.'s had a good start to the year, Deshaun Elliott as well. I genuinely, God,
it's all about JT. JT has a great game. That's what's going to be the deciding factor if they can actually.
I'm going to take the Colts in an upset. This is going to be another upset week, but I am just doing it for that reason. I didn't even factor in. Yeah, your guys' run game has been okay, but it hasn't been really too great. And yeah, if the Colts can control the clock and minimize putting the ball in Richardson's hands and making mistakes, yeah, I think maybe the Steelers go 3-1.
Sustaining drives.
Yeah.
I also kind of agree with Jace, although it makes me nervous picking Anthony Richardson against the Steelers defense, but I feel like they just have to get it together at some point. They just haven't looked like a very functional offense. I feel like Shane Steichen eventually needs to just simplify the offense, start running some RPOs so we get your first read guy open for him to start moving the ball. And if they can get Jonathan Taylor going.
Type of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And if they get Jonathan Taylor going, like you guys said, I feel like they could have maybe exposed the Steelers defense a little bit.
Well,
all right.
Steelers, the strength of the Steelers' defense this year thus far, I think, has been the secondary.
Mhm.
So I think if you kind of take them out of the game and run the ball a lot, I think that, yeah.
I feel like it could be like an
expose
Anthony
that
Richardson
line.
rushing game. I feel like he could do it, maybe hurt the Steelers with his legs.
Let me put it this way: if I'm picking Najee versus Jonathan Taylor, I'm taking fucking Jonathan Taylor. So.
Every day of the week.
So yeah, that's sort of like that's what I based my fucking Saints pick: Kamara versus
Colts
Bijan.
offensive line versus Steelers offensive line. I'm taking the Colts offensive line.
Yes.
Stuff like that, and then the Colts are at home, and the Steelers are 3-0, and the Colts are 1-2. There's a lot of little things that make me lean Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't like a. I'm not comparing it to the Panthers game because that was just a fucking weird one. But this is one of those games where you guys will probably lose, but don't. Yeah, it doesn't really fucking matter in the long term scheme of things.
Right. Jets Broncos. I think it's all the Jets for this one. The defense is good, and Bo Nix again didn't look very great against good defenses.
Yeah, this one's unanimous. I got a feeling.
Yeah, no doubt. Jets. Although I do feel like the Jets are getting way too much love after destroying the Patriots of all teams. I think they need to slow down on the Jets, but
and I
still the Broncos.
I think it's the chemistry that's building between like Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers in that offense. And
I think it's more Allen Lazard than it is Garrett Wilson.
Absolutely fucking insane that Allen Lazard is he leading the league in touchdowns? Wow, now
maybe not now, but the start of last week he might have been.
Like it's insane. I think he's going to be the first guy that has 600 yards passing, but like 15 touchdowns receiving. All right.
I will say everybody's kind of shitting on Bo Nix to start his career, but I'm liking what I see so far.
Yeah, he doesn't look bad. I'm not saying he does look bad, but he definitely.
I mean, I'm not liking it because I'm a Raiders fan, but I mean, I will say that it's adequate. So
yeah, yep. Eagles Bucks again. I think this is going to be one of those fantastic 1:00 games. I have a real hard time picking this. I don't know what team you're going to get out of each side. Are you going to get if AJ Brown plays, I don't think Devontae Smith is going to be able to play after getting his head nearly taken off. But nobody knows about that.
That guy better get fined for that. But yeah. He's in concussion protocol. I'm not sure. I would expect him to not play.
I don't. If Smith and Brown are out, I'm probably going the Buccaneers. I think that's my asterisk on this one. If either of them, one of them comes back, which I foresee AJ Brown possibly.
He might, yeah.
Depending on how his practice schedule goes through the week. If he's in that game, I'm going with the Eagles. But if he's not, I'm going with the Bucs.
I am taking the Buccaneers just for the sole fact of the Eagles kind of grinded out a win's a win, but it was an ugly win against the Saints, and I don't foresee the Buccaneers coming out 2 weeks in a row and getting as slow of a start as they did against the Broncos. And I think they will probably the Eagles probably come back and make it a game, but this is one I could see being like 17-3 in a hurry, Buccaneers, and then the Eagles got to climb their way out of a hole.
Yeah.
I feel pretty similarly. I'm worried about the injuries like that the Eagles have. Like if they have to go out there with just Dallas Goedert and like Jahan Dotson and Saquon, like I don't know, like that makes me nervous. But if AJ Brown plays, or even if Devontae Smith plays, I'd feel a lot better. But yeah, I also just don't know what to expect out of the Buccaneers either. Like them getting exposed by the Broncos makes me nervous to like pick them. But I'll take the Eagles because they're definitely a better roster. They're not the healthier team, but the Bucs are also dealing with a good amount of injuries on the defensive side too. So I don't know. I mean, it's really just going to come down to who's the healthier team that day, who makes the less mistakes. But flip a coin.
Yeah, I literally said this one is a coin toss.
Yep, for sure. Okay, Washington and Cardinals. I've liked the Cardinals. They have not performed drastically well. I think the connection between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison is going to get better as the games progress. I think this is a Cliff Kingsbury revenge game. And
game.
Yeah, it might be a revenge game on his sense, and I actually feel like I'm going with the Commanders in this one.
They could definitely win this game.
I'm going to go with the Commanders as well, but this one is going to be very much like the Commanders game last week where There isn't going to be a punt until the fourth quarter, and I'll tell you what this is going to be. This is going to be like if you could get on, if there was like a fantasy simulator or something on like College Football 25, where you could go back and pick the year that Kyler Murray won the Heisman with Oklahoma and put him against Jaden Daniels when he won the Heisman at LSU. And that is about how much defense will be played in this fucking game. It is going to look like an SEC versus Big Ten matchup.
I would have to agree. I feel like this could be like the highest point total of the week, but I think I'm going to go Cardinals. I just feel like the Washington's defense is just too bad. Like if the Cardinals have a lot of talent, they got to get it together at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so we're split on that, but we can all agree take the over.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
It might be set at 63.5, but take it.
Take it anyway.
63.5. I kind of want to look now.
I genuinely wonder what it is.
It's probably not that. But...
Niners and Patriots. I'm looking while I'm talking.
Okay.
Niners and Patriots. This is a. I want to go with the Patriots in this one. Like I really do.
Have you seen the spread on this game too? This is what's been happening every week. Like one of these teams that are like fucking +7 and up win outright. This is one to watch.
I took the Washington Commanders in the Monday night game, and it won me our football pool, and they were up
nice.
-7.5 to win that. And
I wouldn't brag about winning the pool this week. That was a pitiful fucking.
Dude, I got
I won 11-5, bro.
I don't know how.
You were how you. I don't know how you did that.
Killed it, man.
You
says the NFL script mailed to him.
I do. Where was it? What am I looking at here?
The 49ers and the Patriots. You're also looking at that over for the Cardinals and Commanders.
So it is minus. It's 10.5 point favorites. The
49ers, yeah.
And then the over for the Washington Commander Arizona game is 50.5. That might be one to nail that down.
Yeah, that's an easy one. There's no way.
That is free money parlay. Start every parlay this week with that.
That's pretty.
I can't wait for the
intense.
game to end 9-6.
Right. All right. Yeah, I want to go Patriots here. I really do. I have just a weird feeling about how bad this Niners team is becoming with all their injuries. So I'm going to go Niners. Take the risk.
You take the Patriots. I'm going to go Niners, but I'm going to predict this ends like the Niners have to go down in the 2-minute drill and kick a field goal to fucking win.
Could you imagine if that's what it takes to beat the damn Patriots?
Good God. With the way this year has gone, I could absolutely see it.
Yep. Don't disagree.
I will begrudgingly pick the 49ers, but man, will I be voting for the Patriots.
Ugh, I never thought those words would ever come.
I know, I can't believe I said that, but it's true.
Chiefs and Chargers. Chiefs and Chargers, I think we all agree it's probably going to be the Chiefs game. It's probably going to come down to a stupid penalty that we see at the end of the game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Chiefs and the refs -5.5.
Yeah, unfortunately. If Herbert plays, though, I mean, I think it'll be closer than you think it will be. It's still a division game. I mean, it is in LA, not that means anything because there are no fans, but don't expect the Chiefs to kill them. I don't think he's going to play either.
Herbert playing just for the sole fact of if they're already missing Derwin James, they have a bye after this week. So
yeah,
I think they probably just take their losses and just let him play the long game. Let your franchise quarterback heal up so he can have another different injury in 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably. But if Easton Stick's playing, don't even watch the game.
Hey, but he's Joe.
Taylor Heineke.
Control-Alt-Delete's
it's Heineke. Joe Alt. Well, I mean he has looked really good.
He had a better game. Watt had a better game against him than Crosby did, but yeah, that kid's still not bad. I'll give him that.
No, he did a damn good job, and you got one good pressure on him, and then that holding call. All the pressure came from the other side, and also when Slater was out, Herbig was able to take advantage of that. So as long as those guys are in, they're still going to have a good offensive line, and protection will be there. All right, Raiders Browns. I think Raiders can get things together to beat the Browns.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a Raiders win on that one.
I'm taking the Browns.
I'm taking the Browns.
You hater. Well,
I can't.
I took the Buccaneers. That's fair.
You did, but that's not why I'm taking them. After watching them lose to the Panthers, I can't, in good faith, pick the Raiders to win a football game right now.
That wasn't even. We were so bad.
Fluky. You get a new quarterback in your thing. You get the team motivated. They come out firing. Like, I should have picked the Panthers in that game because I knew that the circumstances always line up that way, and I didn't bring myself to do it. But I should have known to do it.
My concern is that Antonio Pierce was apparently said that there were players making business decisions. Like, what exactly does that mean? That doesn't sound great.
He was literally calling out Jack Jones because he was not tackling people.
He was. Yeah, I sent a video in our chat at TikTok of it, and his effort is bad. Like,
yeah, everybody immediately, just because like they cut to Devontae on the sidelines, and like obviously he's upset that we're losing, and everybody's like, "Oh, he wants traded right now," and he's like said repeatedly, like he doesn't fucking want out, like he wants to stick this out, but everybody immediately is like, "Oh yeah, he was talking about like Devontae didn't do anything wrong in that game." But regardless of who starts at quarterback, if it's Minshew, I don't think he makes it to half, but we'll rebound on this one.
I hope for your sake that you do. I just worry that if you're even talking about your quarterback being switched out at halftime, that usually means that they're not doing well.
Well, that's
Jace is very pessimistic about his quarterbacks.
Even in spite of like the quarterback play, like we beat the Ravens, and it's not like we were never in the Panthers game, but like we're not playing bad football. It's just like we just need just a little bit more out of the quarterback play. Like not a ton. Like I said about Fields, just do enough to not lose you the game. But fucking that's what he's doing. Is he's just taking too many sacks. He's not looking downfield. I won't go on too much longer, but yeah, I don't. We'll rebound regardless. This defense is too good. There's too much talent on that side of the ball. Samir will figure it out.
Yep.
Raiders, baby.
Bills and Ravens on Sunday night. Another good primetime game. I do think this is the Bills' game to win. I think the Ravens have just not quite figured it out yet. Honestly, I think that defense is lacking somebody in the middle. They thought Roquan Smith was going to be able to just handle it, and I feel like Patrick Queen leaving has left a hole. But yes,
no shit,
big time. But yeah,
all right. I'm taking the Bills.
I think I like the Ravens in this game. I don't know why. I just feel like at some point they have to get it together. And the Bills usually do. Like once a year, the Bills lose to like some garbage team, like they lost to the Broncos last year. Like this could be one of those weeks. Not that the Ravens are a garbage team, but this just feels like I don't like the spot for the Bills. They blew out the Jaguars on Monday night, short week, and now they're in prime time at Baltimore. Like I don't know. This feels like a spot, like a scheduling loss to me.
I got you.
Monday night. This will be like an opposite of everything the Ravens have done this year because they've gotten out to leads on everybody and then basically let them back in. I think the Bills will get out to a lead in this game, and then the Ravens are going to come fucking barnstorming back and make it really interesting.
I think I'd agree with you on that. They're going to come back and make it interesting, but I don't think they win it.
No, they'll at least have a chance to make an onside kick. We'll leave it at
that. Probably the worst Monday night game I've seen in a good bit. The Titans and the Dolphins.
Are any of you going to actually sit down and watch this entire game?
Absolutely not. I'll watch it.
I love Monday night football, so I will probably I will turn it on, but I guarantee you, like, this is a game that I will make my dinner early, and I will probably have no issues being, like, half asleep on my couch by halftime.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll definitely be doing something else, but I don't even know how to pick this game.
I don't.
This is a game though. Like
it's going to be a third-string quarterback for the Dolphins, most likely.
That might be an improvement. That's the worst part.
True. I think I'm going with the Titans on this one, even though I really shouldn't.
That's what really that's what intrigues me, and that's why it's like a train wreck. Why I want to watch this game. Will Levis get beaten by Skylar Thompson's backup? Like it's an actual question that, even as ridiculous as it sounds, when you apply logic to it, it doesn't sound that outlandish. I will, however, take the Titans.
You guys are both going Titans?
I think so.
Here he comes.
I'll take the Dolphins.
Yep.
I cannot no. Like I told myself last week after I watched the Titans get blown out by Malik Willis that I'm never picking Levis to win a football game again. So I don't care who's playing quarterback for the Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins.
I can dig it.
Okay. I appreciate the conviction.
And then the Monday.
I'm never picking the Titans again.
Monday night game is going to be a real good one. The Seahawks and the Lions. Lions are my favorite NFC team right now, and I kind of feel like I have to go with them. Just
wait, there's 2 Monday night games again?
Unfortunately,
we're doing these doubleheader Monday night games right now, and I don't know if this is a consistent thing.
I think this is the last one, but
let's take a peek. Yeah, the following week's not like that. Week 6, I don't believe is like that, because then you start getting into the bye weeks. Yeah.
Oh,
for some reason they're doing back-to-back like Monday night doubleheaders.
Everybody's such a hater about it. I like it.
I don't mind it, but it's like
if they were better games, but they're just.
I also wish. Why can't they just fucking start at like 7:30 or 8, like both the game, like?
Because the West Coast.
I hate the West.
Wait, do they not? Because last week the one started at 7:30 and the other one started at 8:15,
and the other starts at 8:15. And if you watch the 8:15 game, you're up till fucking midnight watching these.
Well, that's when it would normally start anyway, because like Monday night.
That's what's getting me. Is like, why can't we start these just earlier? So
you're the fucking one that's always telling me you run on coffee. You know, you got 3 kids. You don't sleep anyhow. What the fuck does it matter?
It's very true. I'm trying to keep myself awake right now. And then when I get done from this, I'll probably see if anybody else is playing video games.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Lions. I don't know if I should, because I'm not really sure who can cover DK Metcalf right now. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Lions as my choice on this one.
He's not here. He has gone to bed, but I am taking the Seahawks. I do want that on record for our geriatric viewer there. I think for that reason, I think they're going to struggle to cover the. I think they're going to struggle to cover JSN and Metcalf, and they've been running the ball effectively enough that I think they can take the ball out of Detroit's hands long enough to keep themselves in this game. And I don't know. I just have a weird gut feeling about this one. I think the Lions probably drop this one in kind of like an ugly fucking mess kind of game.
I actually kind of agree with you. I don't feel like the Lions have looked as impressive as like maybe we make them out to be. And I get that it's early in the year, and honestly, you never know. Sometimes teams just aren't as good as you think they are. Like the Lions should be favorited. They're definitely the more talented team, but I could see the Seahawks going up in there and surprising them. I really could. I think I'm going to pick the Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't disagree with either of your decisions on that too. I'm going with a gut feeling on this. Like, okay, the Lions are going to show up in prime time. But yeah, there's a lot of me that's saying I probably should go with the Seahawks on this one. But I'll stick with my choice of the Lions. All right, that's
yeah. Be the contrarian.
That's our week 4 matchups. I think we hit on a lot of things. We're gonna put our parlay out there probably tomorrow, so Carly can contribute. She was not feeling good, so she had to duck early. But we'll get our parlay together. I think what I want to do, and I want to hear what you guys feel on this. Since we've been picking 2 legs, we had a big parlay. And consistently, it seems that we're hitting one of each of our legs each week. So what I think we should do moving forward is each pick one leg on Thursday and then come to an agreement on a touchdown score. So don't make one of your legs a touchdown score, because then we're going to consult each other and come up with a touchdown score. Make it a 5-legger where we all agree on one touchdown score, and then we have each of our legs. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Well, why don't we do that, and then we could still do just do the traditional everybody pick 2.
That's fine.
And just kind of still.
I want to get a realistic. I want to get a good, realistic one that I think we, that a lot of people could tail and win, and then we can go with our big grabber of, our 2-2s.
We all have been hitting one leg out of 2, but then we'll give up on this, and then we'll win 2 out of 2, and then we won't post it.
I like the way you think.
We won't put it out
both.
to anybody.
We'll throw both out there because we don't want to bail on it. No, you're not wrong.
99% of gamblers give up before their big win. Remember that. That's just
gamble responsibly.
Who fucking gambles responsibly? There's no such thing.
Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, I'm afraid.
Yeah, thank you for covering us legally.
Jesse over there doing God's work.
Someone has to.
All right, everyone. We thank you again. Sorry for not being here last week, but we thank you all for joining us this week. I'll have this posted here momentarily. Hopefully I can edit out some of the technical difficulties that started off the show. But yeah, we're excited to be back. And we'll be back with you next week. We're going to be posting our parlays. And then come Sunday, we'll be posting some of our other good bets we got out there moving forward. So as Jesse Smith and Jace Junk, do you guys have any last words?
Fuck Patrick Mahomes. I don't know.
Fuck Patrick Mahomes. Fuck Nick Sirianni. That'll do it for me.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for all joining us again. And as always, remember, rage on.